A demonic beast's clone infiltrates the group of cultivators and attempts to sneak into the lesser polar palace. Han Li recognizes the clone and annihilates it. A middle-aged cultivator obtains a medicinal pill from Han Li, which will aid him in passing the lesser polar palace's test. Han Li suspects that the demonic beast infiltrated because of the marrow freezing essence. But this matter has been concealed by the lesser polar palace. Han Li continues his journey, flies into a hailstone area, and successfully navigates through it. The glacial city appears before him, showcasing magnificent architecture akin to a celestial realm. Han Li directs his gaze toward the colossal mountain behind the glacial city. Preparing to make his way toward the lesser polar palace, Han Li visited the White Fairy and encountered the surnamed Ren, a cultivator from the lesser Zenith Palace. The surnamed Ren enthusiastically invited Han Li to enter the lesser Zenith Palace. News spread from the White Firmament J that Bai Yaoyi had left seclusion and invited Han Li to meet. The surnamed Ren inquired about Han Li's origins, but Han Li was vague in his response. The Ice City's restrictions were strict, and Han Li noticed the snow apes guarding the city were afraid of him. The surnamed Ren speculated that Han Li possessed a high-level ape-type spirit beast. Han Li did not deny it but said it was of little use. In the inner court of Shaoji Palace, there are 3 white jade palaces similar to the Hall of Chaotic Star Sea in Xuanshan Hall. They are called the Ziling Halls. The Ziling Halls have existed for a long time. It is said that they were built by the ancestors of Shaoji Palace and are quite mysterious. The Ziling Halls are usually closed and can only be opened with the permission of the elders. Their interior is unknown. Han Li visited Bai Yaoyi and was invited inside. Ren Bai, a fellow cultivator, wanted to come along, but Bai Yaoyi politely declined, only wishing to see Han Li. Han Li entered Bai Ning Pavilion and learned that Bai Yaoyi was cultivating and would be there shortly. Han Li visits Bai Yaoyi to ask for help finding the profound ice flower for refining a spirit pill. Bai Yaoyi readily agrees and invites Han Li to stay for a few days to exchange cultivation insights. Han Li stays in the Jade Peak Palace's guest building and meets Bai Yaoyi's disciple, Ren Bai. The 3 of them have a pleasant conversation. Jin Fengli leads Han Li into an ice cave made of tenthus and year-black ice. Upon reaching the hall, Han Li finds a giant ding with a bright blue ice flame. Master Han Li appears, revealing that he invited Han Li because he can consume the ice spirit fruit and possesses the purple extreme fire. Master Han Li explains that extreme cold flames can be refined using a secret technique to increase their power. And the blue ice flame can be refined several times over. Han Li is invited to assist Lesser Palace stimulate cultivators to break through their realms and is required to gather 5 types of extreme cold flames. Lesser Palace promises to provide methods to stimulate breakthroughs, assist in finding Ice Soul Flower, provide refining cold flame secrets, and access to the depository. Han Li agrees to assist but makes the request of detailed incantations. Ice Soul Flower, a copy of the cold flame refining secrets, and access to the depository. Lesser Palace agrees to Han Li conditions, and both parties exchange jade slips and jade pendants. Han Li goes to the depository and is granted access for 10 days. Han Li enters the Pavilion of Scriptures and discovers a vast collection of texts stored in the 7 secret chambers on its floors. A woman in white asks another woman in white for information on Han Li and learns that he possesses an extremely cold flame and extraordinary supernatural powers. Han Li spends 7 or 8 days in the Pavilion of Scriptures, browsing through numerous texts, but he can only access the texts on the first 4 floors. Han Li receives a sound transmission talisman informing him that the location of the Iceling flower has been found. Bai Yaoyi confirms the news of the Iceling flower with Han Li and thanks him for mobilizing the Lesser Polar Palace to search for the flower. Han Li and Bai Yaoyi locate the snow-roaring beast's lair and attempt to lure it out with a fireball, but fail. Han Li releases the 6-winged frost centipede to investigate, triggering a fight. Han Li unleashes his flying sword to slay an escaping snow-roaring beast, after which a larger ice beast appears. The 6-winged frost centipede and ice beast engage in a stalemate. Han Li prepares to intervene. Bai Yaoyi suggests they tame the ice beast, and Han Li sends out the violet-plumed firebird to assist. Han Li uses his divine sense to subdue the ice beast. Han Li set up an array formation to ensure that the refinement of the profound ice pill wouldn't be disturbed. He activated the cauldron, preparing to refine the profound ice pill, and carefully took back the 3 ice spirit flowers. 3 days later, The bottom of the ice crevasse was still covered with blue mist. But 3 streaks of light suddenly appeared in the sky. A white-clad woman, seriously poisoned, hid in the blue mist while red and green streaks of light chased closely behind. The demon serpent woman in the red light found the 6-winged frost centipede and intended to seize it. However, the man in the green light blocked her, and his green poisonous cloud swallowed the golden cloud. Suddenly, there was a humming sound from the golden cloud, revealing a golden beetle, which turned out to be a devouring golden beetle. The human form man was shocked and horrified to discover the devouring golden beetle. Han Li disperses poisonous fog, and the silver arc vanishes. The monster is startled and enraged, releasing green silk nets to seal off an area of more than 10 zhong. Han Li appears behind it and releases a golden electric net to counter the green net. As soon as the green silk makes contact with the electric net, it dissolves into nothing. The monster is terrified and tries to flee. 3 colored flames strike, breaking through the monster's protective spiritual light before dissipating into smoke. The snake monster woman witnesses her companion's death, her red eyes blazing as she transforms into a crimson fire serpent and flees. Han Li locks onto the fire serpent and pursues it with thunder escaping technique. The fire serpent spits out its fire at tribute demon core. Han Li captures it with purple flames. The fire serpent is sealed by purple cold energy and captured by a purple hand, freezing it to death. Han Li collects the monster's remains, and Bai Yao Yi flies out, surprised at Han Li's effortless slaying of the monster. Han Li retrieves his spirit beast and descends. Bai Yao Yi has been poisoned and takes pills to detox. Han Li mentions that the pill refining is finished, and Bai Yao Yi says it was timely. Bai Yao Yi informs him that she encountered a transformed monster and suspects it may be a sign of abnormality, suggesting they leave quickly. After learning the details of the secret technique to advance to the Nascent Soul stage in the Serene Palace, Han Li decided to remain in the palace and bide his time. A month later, the interior of the Serene Palace remained peaceful, but Han Li could sense that a storm was brewing. Bai Mengxin, Bai Yaoyi's cousin, visited and proposed a spar using the extreme cold flame to test Han Li's strength. Han Li unleashed the might of the violet heaven fire, assuring Bai Mengxin and leading her to the 10,000-year ice palace. Elder Han Li, the middle-aged man in azure robes, the old woman, and the monk were all in the palace. Han Li noticed that the old woman and the monk's cultivation were between the mid-stage and the peak of the core formation stage. Master Han Li used the giant cauldron to open a hole in the ground and led the crowd into the secret realm. The passage was built with dark ice and inlaid with moonlight stones, leading to an underground hall. At the end of the hall was a huge stone gate guarded by 16 or 17 Nascent Soul cultivators. Master Han Li called the crowd the elders of his palace, and revealed that he needed to enter the Jade Cavern to break through his bottleneck. The Jade Cavern was located in the Void Spirit Hall, which had a secret passage connected to it rather than an entrance from outside. A gray-haired elder opposed outsiders entering the Void Spirit Hall, claiming it violated rules and precedents. Master Han Li said that he had the right to open the Void Spirit Hall and had the consent of more than 2/3 of the resident elders. Han Li used the violet extreme flames to protect himself from the cold, while the other cultivators shielded themselves with their own spirit flames. Behind the stone gate was an ice pillar maze covered in divine restrictions. Han Li opened the void temple and the group entered before he closed the door to prevent any disturbances. They entered the ice soul cold fierce formation and Han Li used an array disc to open a passage. The ice pillars contained powerful icy power, though it paled in comparison to the extreme cold of the immortal flames. Elder Han Li, along with a middle-aged man from the Verdant Mountains, a gray-robed monk, an elderly woman, and Han Li, enter the mystic Jade Cavern under the guidance of Venerable Han Li. The 10,000-year-old mystic Jade can enhance the icy divine abilities of magic treasures, and Venerable Han Li promised to give them the mystic Jade afterward. Han Li discovers that the cold energy in the mystic Jade Cavern is sentient, but he can absorb it with his true yin fire. The Wannian Ming cannot be easily extracted because it has been refined by ancient cultivators. The small extreme palace uses the method of transforming fossils into gold through the earth's spiritual yin qi to extract a small amount of the Zanyu with yin water. The sun essence house is built of sun essence stone which isolates the cold air and is connected to the sun essence fire. Successive ancestors of the small extreme palace have acquired the sun essence stone. but its specific origin is unknown. Ascendant Han Li reminds the other cultivators about the other taboos in the Dark Jade Cavern and the steps to break through bottlenecks. The minor palace is about to be attacked by a horde of demons. To fend off the ice demon beast, the minor palace will offer a treasure, which is effective against low-level demons. To reduce casualties, the minor palace arranges for some disciples to evacuate. Elder Han Li and others are in seclusion in the profound Jade Cave. Preparing to break through a bottleneck, they have set up a magic formation and are absorbing the pure spiritual energy within it to increase the success rate of their breakthrough. Han Li discovers that the magic formation unexpectedly enhances the power of the violet extreme heaven flame. Several handmaid beasts advanced through the snow and were killed in ambushes by hidden palace handmaidens. A level 7 minotaur beast walked on the ice lake and killed a palace disciple who attempted an ambush with a single strike. On various battlefields, low-level beasts and cultivators below the Golden Core stage engaged in small-scale battles, while Nascent Soul cultivators and level 8 beasts held their positions. A beautiful woman reported that 37 disciples had been lost in their mission to ambush the beasts. The palace master ordered the Zhenhai bell to be used in an hour to heavily wound the low-level beasts and for the restriction array to be activated. Once the Ice Soul Fairy froze the Ice Abyss Island for a century, forcing the monsters to avoid it. Now the matter of her ascension to the spiritual world has attracted the attention of the monsters. The myriad monsters valley transformed into an old man and cultivated an avatar, intending to explore the spatial node and obtain news of the spiritual world. The silver-clad woman of the Ice Phoenix clan joined forces with the myriad monsters valley to gather information. The sea-suppressing bell, a treasure for suppressing monsters, fell into the hands of the Ice Soul Fairy, which has excellent effect on the monsters in the Icy Sea. The monsters learned that the Shaoyi Palace had slaughtered low-level monsters in the Icy Sea. The silver-clad woman was furious and prepared for retaliation. Han Li and 4 other cultivators cast spells on a pile of rubble in the Xuanyu Cave to perform a rejuvenation on Senior Han Li. From the orb of light in the formation array emerged a young and robust Senior Han Li. Silver blades were stuck in his body, with light bugs constantly entering and exiting it. Han Li and the others found that the formation array lacked enough Xuanyu chill and needed to be replenished. Senior Han Li got up. The 5 daggers disappeared, and he asked Han Li to predict when he would break through the bottleneck. Han Li answered cautiously, and Senior Han Li cast a spell to replenish the Xuanyu chill of the formation array. Han Li discusses caution with the monk. The defenses of the small Zenith Palace are attacked by a giant phoenix. High-level cultivators Bai Yaoyi and the gray-haired elder fight, using magic treasures to defend against the phoenix ice spears. The beautiful woman does not appear. Han Li expresses his intention to use the power of 3 people to break through his bottleneck. But the monk expresses concerns and suggests using the dry blue cauldron as a bargaining chip. Han Li, the old woman, and the middle-aged man agree. But the middle-aged man objects due to the purpose of the dry blue cauldron. The monk insists on keeping it temporarily. Patriarch Han Li of the Blue Flame sect exits his nascent soul, releasing the essence of the blue ice flame to support itself. The nascent soul absorbs the ice flames of Han Li and the others, condensing into a 6-colored light lotus, which is wrapped in blue threads to form a flower bud. The flower bud is integrated into Han Li's physical body, stimulating his body to break through its bottleneck. 2 disciples of the small Zenith Palace are on a secret mission in the Ice City to meet with 2 other low-level cultivators. Outside cultivators have broken through the outer formation and are approaching the Ice City. The sect master and the elders decided to evacuate in order to preserve their strength. The 10,000 Demons banner is very powerful and was reconstructed from the ancient Celestial Demons banner. The Ice Phoenix is trapped in the elusive light profound heaven formation, and the sect master was worried that there wasn't enough time to evacuate. The sect master communicated telepathically with the Netherworld Ghost Mother, who suggested working together, but his proposal was rejected. The Netherworld Ghost Mother believed that the small Supreme Palace would face a crisis, and that retreating into the Void Spirit Temple would not be a secure plan. Senior Han Li attempts to break through to the Divine Transformation stage, causing his physical body to become like sandalwood. Everyone eagerly observes, noting the irregular change of the nascent soul and wavering divine sense marker. Han Li benefits immensely from observing the changes in Senior Hanli's body. As time passes, Senior Hanli's body levitates, his eyes emitting a crimson gold radiance as he executes the Dharma incantation. The world's spiritual energy is drawn in, surging into Senior Han's body. With the phenomena continuing, following an explosion, the light lotus between Senior Han's brows undergoes a drastic change, finally transforming into a thumb-sized lotus mark. The world's spiritual energy disperses, and the restless spiritual power in the bodies of Han Li and the others returns to normal. Senior Han Li, with a solemn expression, closes his eyes, leading everyone to speculate that he has achieved a breakthrough. However, a groan suddenly resounds. Senior Han's face twists in agony, and he clutches his head in pain. The light lotus mark between his brows detaches itself. Han Li fails to advance to deity transformation, but his self-created secret technique gains recognition. Han Li demands that Han Li hand over the heaven-defying spiritual treasure, the Void Heaven Cauldron. Han Li notices that Han Li violet core flames have fused with the azure blue ice flames, leading him to conclude that Han Li possesses the Void Heaven Cauldron. The Void Heaven Cauldron originally belonged to the founding patriarch, Ice Soul Fairy, and the Void Spirit Hall was built after its whereabouts became unknown. Han Li demands that Han Li surrender the Void Heaven Cauldron, promising not to cause him any trouble. A monk aids Han Li to seize the dry blue cauldron. Master Han Li intervenes by using Confucian techniques to obstruct the monk. Han Li conjures the Void Sky Cauldron to capture the dry blue cauldron. Master Han Li learns of the monk's alignment with the Jade Green Sect. The monk reveals the Jade Green Sect status as an outer sect of the Lesser Zenith Palace. Master Han Li summons his fellow cultivators, Long and Matriarch, to confront Han Li and the monk. Master Han Li triggers a restriction, which the monk counters with a wooden fish. Han Li seizes an opportunity while the goddess is distracted and heavily damages her prime ice sword. The woman summons a black flood dragon to hinder Han Li, sacrifices a small blue banner to conceal herself, and escapes. Bai Mengxin uses a mirror to freeze most of Han Li's flying swords. Han Li breaks the ice, and Bai Mengxin is swept away by a gale. Han Li severs the middle-aged mont's arm with the demon marrow blade, and the man escapes after reattaching his arm with a talisman. A milky yellow bead envelops a fist-sized ancient treasure with lightning attributes. Han Li's golden giant sword fights against the thunder bead, and the lightning interweaves to form a giant electric ball. Han Li uses the violet flame to resist the cold and takes the thunder bead. A middle-aged man in a blue shirt urges his mana, causing the thunder bead's blue light to flourish and suppress the golden arc. Han Li's golden giant python tears apart the blue arc and seizes the thunder bead. Bai Mengxin sacrifices a mirror, releasing an unknown object to attack Han Li. Han Li discovers and strikes the bifurcated human-faced scorpion, the 29th ranked spiritual insect in the infantile stage. Han Li releases an insect swarm, and the bifurcated human-faced scorpion transforms and disappears. Han Li subdued the 5 conjoined heart demons. The 5 demons launch an attack on the middle-aged man in the blue shirt. The middle-aged man in the blue shirt recognized the 5 demons and tried to resist. Han Li's body released 4 phantom attacks on Bai Mengxin and Han Li Shangren. Bai Mengxin uses a treasure to attack the phantom. Han Li put away the empty heaven cauldron and released the wind and thunder wings, ready to launch an attack. Han Li circled behind Bai Mengxin and released the thunder evasion technique to draw her attention. Then used the 5 elements evasion technique to pierce through the giant ice. Bai Mengxin defended with a silver net, and Han Li attacked with the 3 flames fan. But the silver net resisted some of the flames. Han Li used 10,000-year spirit liquid to enhance the 3 flames fan's power, releasing 3 colored firebirds that defeated the silver net. But then a blue ice dragon appeared, released from Cold Li's profound blue cauldron. Cold Li used a dark blue flame to restore the ice dragon, while Han Li's humanoid puppet attacked Cold Li, and Bai Mengxin was trapped by a silver screen. The Grand Elder of the Arcane Pavilion evades Han Li's dark marrow flying knife attack, his nascent soul concealed within his skull. Han Li's godly finger pierces Elder Han Li's nascent soul, and the black short blade decapitates him. Elder Han Li's nascent soul escapes using the blink technique, but Han Li traps the azure flying sword with his golden net and lightning. The nascent soul retracts the flying sword and attempts to escape the golden net, but Han Li shrinks the net's opening, entrapping the sword. The nascent soul attempts to blink into the verdant azure cauldron, but is deterred by a verdant figure near the Qilin illusion, ultimately being absorbed by the cauldron. Han Li pursues the nascent soul, and the cauldron blinks near the cave entrance, where the profound jade ore's cold chi transforms into flames before being absorbed by the cauldron. Han Li subdues the Nascent Soul cultivator Han Li with a green bottle, trapping his Nascent Soul within. Under Han Li orders, the humanoid puppet kills Bai Mengxin with the devil marrow flying knife. Her Nascent Soul is destroyed by the lightning firebow and the gold thunderwood arrow. Han Li acquires the storage pouch and the remaining extreme cold flame from the man in the azure shirt. Han Li takes Bai Mengxin's fragrant corpse and her storage pouch, while imprisoning the wind-severing ice flame with the evil-resisting divine thunder. Han Li remains suspicious of the Kirin mirage in the sky and prepares to test its nature with sword energy. Han Li breaks through the barrier to reveal the cloaked old woman and the grey-robed monk. The two activate their divine abilities, forming a new barrier. Han Li mocks their attempt to exploit the situation, claiming to have killed Han Li, Lin Yin and Yuan Yao. The grey-robed monk is dubious, while the old woman is enraged. Han Li activates his sword formation, which the old woman recognizes. The grey-robed monk suggests a truce, but Han Li refuses. The old woman reminds him of Han Li's possession of powerful puppets and skeletons. The two decide to break the sword formation first, while the grey-robed monk will deal with the 5 devilish elements if they intervene. The grey-robed monk and the old woman found it difficult to resist Han Li's sword formation. Han Li human puppet attacked, seizing the grey-robed monk's fiery red orb and the old woman's yellow plum needles. The human puppet enveloped the yellow plum needles in silver light, nullifying their spiritual force and heavily injuring the old woman. The grey-robed monk unleashed countless silver light orbs in an attempt to counter Han Li. Han Li discovers that the cold flame can also be used to refine flying swords. Han Li removes the cold flame and the 5 children magical twin hearts and replaces the spirit stone in his humanoid puppet. Han Li uses submergence to extract Tenthus and Year profound jade and discovers that submergence is the same as the spirit water of the dead. Han Li collects Daliang de Tenthus and Year profound jade, but cannot retrieve all of it due to a lack of submergence. Han Li plans to use the profound jade to refine magical treasures or enhance the power of his existing treasures. Han Li enters the Void Spirit Palace with his puppet and Fire Raven. Activating a spell formation, Han Li uses the Nascent Soul of Elder Han Li to perform a soul search. Learning about the Void Spirit Palace but finding no information about the Sun Essence Fire, Han Li realizes the danger as the palace's exit is only through the main hall. Han Li discovers a side door and uses the Dark Yin Fire Raven and the small cauldron to break the seal and destroy the Ice Beast. Han Li enters the side door and finds a courtyard filled with ice beasts sculpted from black ice. Han Li uses the fire cauldron to summon the Fire Raven, easily defeating the ice beasts. Spirit beasts invade the Void Spirit Hall. Han Li takes action and kills the spirit beasts. 3 female cultivators from the small Zenith Palace ask for help. A woman named Yao Man arrives and learns that Han Li and the small Zenith Palace elder are in the Jadeite Cavern. She implores Han Li to go and see what happened to the spirit beasts. Han Li teleports over and discovers that the other side has also been invaded by spirit beasts. A humanoid puppet kills 2 of the spirit beasts. Han Li was intercepted by 2 formidable Nascent Soul stage Yao Shou. When Han Li attempted to escape, his escape technique was broken by the 3-eyed Yao Shou's Dharma breaking heavenly awe, causing him some minor injuries. Han Li resolved to no longer show mercy and directed his attacks solely at the 3-eyed Yao Shou. Using his flying sword, demon subduing rod, purple flame, and lunar fire raven, the 3-eyed Yao Shou defended against the flying sword with its rainbow lights and with its Yao Beast body against the demon subduing rod. But the green-eyed, long-eared Yao Beast, which had been sneak attacked by the demon marrow flying knives, was beheaded. Fire Raven unleashed violet flames, freezing ice monsters and a NINTH grade demonic beast. A human-shaped puppet defeated the NINTH grade demonic beast. And Han Li used a wooden ruler to confine and capture its essence. Han Li collected the demonic beast's materials and ancient treasures, including the 3rd eye of the 3-eyed demonic beast. Ignoring other battles, Han Li headed for the side door of the Shu Ling Hall's main hall. Bai Yaoyi and the supervisory elder teamed up against a 10th grade transformed demonic beast. The demonic beast suppressed Bai Yaoyi and the elder with a cyan lightning net and a black staff phantom. After scouting, Han Li identified the demonic beast and accelerated his escape to enter the main hall. Han Li was confronted by a surge of demonic energy and he defended himself by using his green bamboo bee cloud sword to create a golden lotus. A celestial dragon's voice then mocked Han Li's flying sword, to which he responded by taking out his three flames fan. As a giant whirlpool over 10 feet wide emerged and spewed out a black aura. Han Li fought desperately to resist. Han Li aimed his three flames fan at the whirlpool, and it disappeared shortly afterward. The voice revealed that it belonged to fellow Daoist Che of the Myriad Fiends Valley, who recognized Han Li's three flames fan and its connection to Fairy Linglong. Che suspected that Han Li possessed the eight-spirited ruler, and Han Li secretly prepared his fire cauldron and wood ruler in response. An army of demonic beast puppets emerged from the demonic energy, their numbers vast. Han Li summoned the fire crow and a giant fireball to join the sea of fire and engage the puppets. The puppets and the fire crow continually regenerated amidst the demonic energy and flames. A chant arose from the demonic energy, and a colossal black demonic claw descended from the heavens. Han Li blocked the demonic claw with his demon vanquishing rod and golden rainbow sword. Severing it, a black shield appeared as a golden python bit down on it. And the old Cha demon emerged in the guise of a young child. Han Li recognized the child as a transformation, and the child prepared to cast the Myriad Demon's banner. Han Li summoned the fire crow and a golden flying sword, while the child defended with the obsidian shield. A black sphere of light, summoned by the young child, deflected the flaming arrows. Han Li countered with a blast of icy Zan Yu Han Chi. Han Li prepared to deploy the Great Jing sword formation, but the child shattered the ice with a silver pendant and manipulated space with the Myriad Demon banner. The silver spear of the humanoid puppet pierced through the spatial barrier but missed the young child. Han Li recognized the incredible power of this spatial manipulation. The young child used the silver pendant to resist the cold of the lunar fire raven. Han Li recalled the 8-spirit measure and prepared to retreat after collecting the treasures. The old monster Che transformed into the Myriad Demon banner and imprisoned Han Li within it. While the 3 Shaji Palace cultivators resisted the Ice Phoenix, the remains of the Shaji Palace Nascent Soul Elder fell from within the Myriad Demon banner, revealing that the other Shaji Palace cultivators had been trapped. Han Li discovered a teleportation array and planned to escape the ruins of Ziling. The Ice Phoenix discovered the azure blue ice flame on Han Li and launched a fierce attack against him. Han Li used the green bamboo bee cloud sword and the fire crow to withstand the Ice Phoenix crystal flying sword attack. A crystalline, pointed beak half a foot in size suddenly appeared amidst the cold flames, attempting to attack Han Li. Han Li humanoid puppet appeared just in time, blocking the beak's attack with its silver fist. The 10th grade Ice Phoenix emerged, breaking free from its trapped claws and using a 10,000-year jade shortsword to sever the azure spiritual light. Han Li's azure spirit threads were cut off by the 10,000-year jade sword. Losing their ability to restrict the Ice Phoenix, Han Li cast 3 pale green illusions in an attempt to distract the Ice Phoenix. The Ice Phoenix transformed into a silver-clad woman, summoning 2 4-winged frost centipedes. The woman tore open a spatial rift, appearing before Han Li and blocking his path. Han Li grew furious and decided to confront the Ice Phoenix with all his strength. Han Li faces the Myriad Demon's banner, summoning a giant skeleton in an attempt to destroy it. The child takes the shrunken Myriad Demon's banner back and dodges the giant skeleton's attacks. The 5 fiends are immune to the Myriad Demon's banner, giving the child a headache and making it impossible for him to easily subdue them. Han Li and the puppet are in a standoff, wary of the Ice Phoenix. The beautiful woman gives up fighting and helps Han Li out with a ghost cultivator in the green mist. The woman in the green mist calls herself Huang Quan Ghost Mother and argues with the child. Han Li is surprised by her strength. The silver shirt woman's expression changes slightly. Ghost Mother reveals the secret of her delayed transformation into a celestial immortal, implying that her lifespan is coming to an end. Han Li attacked the other party's teleportation array, but was easily countered by the ghost matriarch of the Netherworld. Han Li activated his teleportation array, but was stopped by the beautiful woman and the ghost matriarch of the Netherworld. Han Li released a Buddhist treasure, forcing the ghost matriarch of the Netherworld to flee. The teleportation array was activated, trapping the beautiful woman. The silver-clad woman cast a secret technique, and a transparent halo enveloped the teleportation array. Han Li and the others vanished. The beautiful woman attacked the silver-clad woman, who barely managed to use the secret technique which appeared to take great effort. The Three Flames van breaks through the light curtain. Han Li escapes and summons the Great Shift Order. The light curtain collapses, and the Ice Phoenix is also teleported away. The Palace Master of the Lesser Polar Palace is torn between joy and worry. And the young child summons the Demon Banner. The Matriarch of Yellow Springs and the Old Car Demon fight a fierce battle. Han Li and the Ice Phoenix are transported to a stone chamber, facing each other in a standoff. The Ice Phoenix is incredibly strong, but it knows that its chances of victory are slim. Han Li has no intention of fighting the Ice Phoenix and gets up to leave. Han Li faces difficulties navigating through the labyrinthine passageways of the Void Heaven Palace. After dispelling the illusion, he finally locates a teleportation array leading to the next level. He searches through multiple treasure rooms, but finds no treasures or triggers any restrictions. Han Li surmises that the control mechanism for the formation is on the 5th level of the Void Heaven Palace's tower. But his search yields no results. The silver-robed woman appears, and Han Li does not impede her. The silver-robed woman asks if Han Li has found a way out, which he denies. He learns that she has found the formation's control mechanism. The silver-robed woman inquires about the connection between this place and the Ice Phoenix Ferry, and whether the small cauldron in Han Li possession is the Void Heaven Cauldron. An array appears, containing patterns of the Void Heaven Cauldron, similar to the sealing array Han Li has seen before. Han Li is invited to manipulate the Void Heaven Cauldron, but after the interaction between the Void Heaven Cauldron and the array, he loses contact and his mana is largely consumed. The silver-clad woman offers help to slow down Han Li mana depletion. The array fails to activate because the duo do not have enough mana. More people are needed to succeed. The silver-clad woman proposes a secret technique, which integrates the mana of several people and has a chance to activate the array. Han Li puppets and the 5 demons are needed. Han Li refuses, unwilling to hand over the Void Heaven Cauldron. Han Li is forced to cultivate at the Lingan Spring after lending out the Void Heaven Cauldron. After 80 years pass, Han Li still hasn't stirred. At the port of the Star Sea, the Star Palace and the Reversed Star Union are engaged in fierce battles, making life difficult for the minor sects. 2 Foundation establishment disciples discuss the Star Palace and the Reversed Star Union in a pavilion. Suddenly, vibrant clouds and massive waves appear high in the sky, startling everyone at the port. The fearsome spiritual pressure radiating from the clouds fills everyone with trepidation. The middle-aged man recognized an aerial palace as the Void Heaven Palace, and another group also discovered it and wanted to investigate. Suddenly, the Void Heaven Palace shot out a cyan beam of light, revealing a man, a woman, and a cyan cauldron. Abruptly, a fiery cloud appeared, but it was extinguished by a crystalline sword light released by the woman. The middle-aged man recognized the cultivator in the fiery cloud as the Nascent Soul stage fiendish patriarch. But he too was killed by the woman. After the man and woman left, the middle-aged man surnamed Gong greeted the man, his heart filled with trepidation, as he suspected that the woman's formidable power indicated she was a late-stage Nascent Soul cultivator. After returning, Han Li accepted an invitation from a surnamed Gong, a cultivator from Kuman Island, to understand the location and situation of the Sea of Star Vortex. After investigation, he learned that Kuman Island was a large island exclusively occupied by the Huang shaman, and that Guixing Island was nearby. Han Li speculated that the Heavenly Star City was not far, but that Guixing Island was relatively distant. The palace complex on the mountaintop of Kuman Island was luxurious and exquisite. Cultivator Gong informed Han Li that the current situation in the Sea of Star Vortex was more chaotic. Cultivator Gong asked Han Li about his escape from the Void Sky Palace, which Han Li responded to casually, also mentioning that the icy phoenix that had been trapped there with him had already left. Han Li proposed exchanging 2 ancient treasures for medium and high-grade spirit stones and materials. Cultivator Gong indicated that he had a stock of medium-grade spirit stones and materials, but not many high-grade spirit stones, though he was still willing to exchange. A middle-aged man surnamed Gong warns the cultivators present against discussing Han Li, lest they alert him. The elder in green recognizes Han Li as the cultivator who was pursued by the Inverse Star Alliance years ago, showing evidence with a jade slip. The middle-aged man confirms Han Li's identity after examining the slip, ordering the incident to be kept a secret and the sect gates be closed to prevent any entanglement with Han Li. the middle-aged man decides not to report the matter to his superiors, believing his sect has no relation to Han Li or the Void Refinement Cauldron. After discovering Han Li, cultivators approached him to inquire about his situation. But Han Li had used a technique to conceal his cultivation. One of the female cultivators, Ling Yuling, recognized Han Li and removed her cloak to reveal her face. Ling Yuling informed Han Li that Shigong and the Reverse Star Alliance were at war, and she had been ordered to assist a besieged island. Han Li disclosed that he had reached the mid-Yuanying stage, which stunned and impressed Ling Yuling. Han Li requested Ling Yuling's help in using a teleportation array to travel to the outer sea. Ling Yuling gave Han Li a token that would grant him access to the array. After bidding farewell to Ling Yuling, Han Li headed toward the main island. Ling Yuling then considered her options and used a sound transmission talisman to send a message. Two cultivators failed to cultivate the Yuanxi Shengguang technique but learned that they can alter their spiritual roots through a blood sacrifice ritual. They decide to nurture the Jade Spirit to take over the Star Palace and consider recruiting Cultivator Han, who possesses the Void Heaven Cauldron. If Cultivator Han refuses to join the Star Palace, they will consider eliminating him to avoid future trouble. To this end, they plan to take action themselves, as ordinary elders may not be able to handle Cultivator Han. Han Li discovers a familiar-looking formation flag and surmises that it belongs to a similar type of magical artifact he gave to someone, which piques his interest in the female core formation cultivator. The core formation male cultivator, a Confucian scholar surnamed Tian, and the core formation female cultivator, Fairy Yu, prepare to use the teleportation formation to travel to the outer sea with their companions. Resident at the teleportation formation, the sinister-looking cultivator surnamed Zhang, a member of the Star Palace, arranges the teleportation and releases the restrictions after receiving spirit stones. An elderly cultivator is responsible for operating the teleportation formation. He appears amiable but has a cold glint in his eyes. As Confucian scholar Tian and Fairy Yu prepare to use the teleportation formation, a woman's voice suddenly appears, accusing the sinister man of violating regulations by allowing passage to the outer sea. The sinister man and the elderly cultivator turn pale, and Confucian scholar Tian and Fairy Yu attempt to use the teleportation formation to escape, but are repelled by a mysterious, shimmering light. The veiled woman is surprised and hesitant after discovering that Han Li's strength far exceeds her expectations. Han Li displays his power and intercepts a sound transmission. The veiled woman admits that she is Ling Ru's mother and thanks Han Li for his previous help towards Ling Ru. Han Li recognizes Ling Ru's talent and speculates that she is a descendant of the dual saints. The veiled woman tentatively inquires about Han Li cultivation progress, but Han Li evades a direct answer. Han Li requests to use the Star Palace's teleportation array, and the veiled woman agrees while gifting him with a guest token. The veiled woman invites Han Li to their couple's cultivation grounds to exchange insights about the Nascent Soul realm. But Han Li politely declines. The veiled woman feels helpless deep down, recognizing Han Li's extreme caution. After the veiled woman left, the grim-faced man and the elder relaxed and changed their attitude towards Wen Simu and the others. The grim-faced man and the elder returned the spirit stones and expressed that they would cover the cost of teleportation, hoping that Wen Simu and the others would not pursue the matter any further. Wen Simu and the others agreed not to take back the spirit stones and entered the teleportation formation. Disappearing into white light, Wen Simu and the others appeared in a stone chamber on the other side and found that Han Li was not there. Wen Simu went out to look for Han Li and found him talking to a cultivator from the Star Palace. After Han Li finished asking the Star Palace cultivator, Wen Simu approached him and thanked him, then pleaded with him to help remove the strange poison from her daughter's body. Han Li inquired about the symptoms of Wen Simu's daughter's illness, and Wen Simu said that she had found a way to detoxify her but could not completely eliminate the poison. Wen Simu hoped that Han Li could provide a more effective method to completely cure her daughter of the strange poison. The dual saints of Star Palace are concerned about Han Li's powerful abilities, making him a difficult threat to eliminate. Plan 1: they will team up to use Mount Yuanxi to ambush Han Li when he returns, but they need to determine his time of return. Plan 2: they will use the guest token to track Han Li's whereabouts and then ambush him at the Starry Sky Hall. Plan 3: they will make Han Li the dual spiritual couple of Jade, allowing them to control Han Li and potentially have him take over Star Palace in the future. Plan 4. If Plan 3 fails, they will use strategy to make Han Li ruin his own future, leaving him with no time to meddle in Star Palace's affairs. Han Li notices a red mole on the girl's hand, a sign of the dragon cry physique, which enables fast cultivation but causes significant imbalance between yin and yang, leading to a short life. Han Li believes that the girl's poison is caused by the interaction between her dragon cry physique and toxic insects. After the poison is expelled, she will still not be able to continue cultivating. Han Li removes the poison from the girl and asks Wen Siming and his wife to check her condition. After the poison is removed, it turns into a green flame. Han Li learned that Chinner had the dragon's cry physique. He explained that for a cultivator below the core formation stage, it was impossible to suppress the backlash of her extreme yang energy. He could only help her after he advanced to the later stages of core formation. In their desperation, Han Li presented them with an array book. He promised that if Chinner could comprehend it, he would take her as his disciple and assist her in establishing a foundation and forming a golden core. Han Li instructed Chinner to comprehend the book alone and gave her a purple yin pill to mitigate the toxicity. Ecstatic, the couple agreed to wait for Han Li's return on Kuishing Island in a year. Han Li decided to test Chinner's aptitude for arrays to confirm if she was the reincarnation of Shin Ruyin or had any other connection to her. Han Li detected a strange object under the sea, leading to massive waves. A mysterious shrill cry attacks Han Li, and as he falls, he is protected by purple flames. Han Li discovers a huge dark shadow in the sky, which repels his divine sense. A massive, azure claw emerges from a spatial rift, its size reminiscent of a mountain. Hidden within the shadow is a prehistoric giant bird, possibly thousands of feet long, attempting to strike across the divide. Han Li escapes in terror, transforming into a silver arc and vanishing from sight. Han Li investigates the seabed and discovers an empty area. His human puppet discovers a cyan light cluster containing a feather. The feather possesses teleportation ability, but Han Li counters it with lightning nets. Han Li uses talismans to seal the feather, preventing its teleportation. The feather shrinks under the talismans and releases powerful wind spiritual energy. Han Li stores it in a storage pouch and leaves the area. Han Li kills a grade 6 baby carp beast and rescues 3 Qingyang sect cultivators. Led by Chen Jing, the rescued Qingyang sect cultivators learn of Han Li's nascent soul realm and treat him with respect. Han Li learns of Biling Island and wants to go to the market to collect high-level spirit stones, using the baby carp beast's demon core as payment. Chen Jing leads Han Li to his residence, Laikong Island. Han Li arrives at the small town and notices a tall pavilion to the south, a place frequented by cultivators. Han Li refuses the company of Chen Jing and the others, asking them to leave and keep his whereabouts a secret. After Chen Jing and the others enter the cave dwelling, they discuss Han Li's background and whether to report it to their sect. Chen Jing believes that investigating Han Li is unnecessary since the sect's patriarch is in seclusion and killing them would not benefit the Qingyang sect. Han Li sends out his gold-devouring beetles to infiltrate Chen Jing's cave dwelling, breaking the restriction spell and eavesdropping on their discussion. Han Li retrieves his gold-devouring beetles, learning the content of Chen Jing and the others' discussion. Disguised as a frail old man, Han Li passes by the 6 Lian Palace and escapes notice from Master Miaohuo Zhenren and his companions. Exchanging spirit stones at a nearby shop, Han Li attracts the attention of several golden core cultivators who begin to follow him. Using stealth techniques, Han Li disappears, leaving the pursuers clueless. Han Li sets up a concealing formation in a mountain hollow outside Xicheng and summons thousands of gold-devouring beetles. Employing the divine sense scattering secret technique, he distributes his divine sense across the beetles, increasing his detection range. Han Li uses the beetles to scout his surroundings. As night falls, the entire Biling Island is plunged into darkness, except for the brightly lit Xicheng, illuminating the surrounding silence with its glow. Several masked friars are surrounded by a large number of golden beetles. The leading friar Miaohuo recognizes the newcomer as Han Li, who he identifies as the disciple of the late golden light scattered cultivator, who had escaped after being possessed. Han Li reveals himself, stating that he has come to seek revenge on Friar Miaohuo, and demands spirit stones from him. This terrifies Friar Miaohuo and another nascent soul cultivator, Old Man Wang Pao. Han Li's divine sense is powerful, and he can use thousands of transformations. He can also utilize the power of golden devouring beetles to track and monitor Friar Miaohuo and his party. Learning that they are traveling to Green Spirit Island, purple flame shielded off the white needles and destroyed artifacts like the emerald hammer and the silver one. Han Li captured the old man in yellow robe, froze him, and seized his magical treasure. The 4 Nascent Soul cultivators tried to flee and were killed by Han Li. Daoist Miaohuo escaped, but Han Li used the humanoid puppet to ambush him, severely injuring and capturing him. Han Li imprisoned the old man in yellow robe's Nascent Soul under strict guard. Han Li kept a close eye on the direction in which Daoist Miaohuo escaped. Thunderbolt Isle is much smaller compared to Verdant Spirit Isle. Although Verdant Spirit Isle has no buildings or sacred mountains, there are a number of stone peaks that are nearly 10,000 meters tall, piercing straight into the clouds. Not an inch of grass grows on them, and they are a grayish-white color. There are no fluctuations of spiritual energy on the island, leading some to question whether it is a waste mountain. Han Li suspects that there is something else on the island that is concealing the fluctuations of spiritual veins. He waits for nightfall, infiltrates the island, and gets close to the area occupied by the Inverse Star Alliance. He discovers that it is heavily guarded. Before Han Li enters a large stone peak, he discovers a layer of blue light, which is a formation restriction. He takes out the 3 flames fan and prepares to break through the restriction. But suddenly his expression changes. He puts the feather fan away and disappears. Several Dongguan arrive. The leader is a white-haired cultivator at the mid-stage of the Nascent Soul realm. The white-haired cultivator uses a sound transmission talisman to open the blue light screen. And Han Li follows closely behind and enters. A corpse of inauspicious blood is an extremely powerful demonic corpse which violates nature's laws, requiring a corpse with the same bloodline for refining. Han Li discovers the 2 corpses of inauspicious blood of the white-haired cultivator. But to avoid trouble, he does not pursue the matter. A guard on the mountain reveals that Patriarch Jiyan is currently in his dwelling, and Han Li goes in search of him. The mountain's peak has been renovated to encompass a large area but contains few buildings, with few or no foundation establishment cultivators present. Han Li arrives at a giant attic, uses a purple radiance to cut open a passage, and breaks inside. Only a core formation cultivator remains in the attic, which Han Li kills and burns to ashes. Finding no one in the second story of the attic, Han Li uses his spiritual sense to investigate the ground floor, and discovers a restriction preventing his spiritual sense. Han Li clenched his 5 fingers into a fist, and a golden electric dragon rushed towards the black giant python released by the extreme yin ancestor, and used the exorcism divine lightning to crush it. The extreme yin ancestor wielded a blood-red long knife, but Han Li spat out a golden flying sword and cut it off with a sweep of his divine sense. The extreme yin ancestor discovered that Han Li cultivation had reached the late nascent soul stage and was terrified. Han Li used the void heaven cauldron and released a huge azure net formed by azure threads, covering the stone chamber. The extreme yin ancestor summoned the heaven capital corpse, but the blue flames froze and shattered them. The azure net shot out blue fireballs, releasing a cold mist, turning the stone chamber into a glacier, and eliminating the demonic energy, forcing the extreme yin ancestor to appear. Ancestor Ji Yin used the heaven capital corpse fire to try to escape, but Han Li used the all treasures lock to seal the stone door, trapping the extreme yin ancestor. Han Li finds primordial infant barbarian in the void heaven temple, and learns that he was imprisoned by the patriarch of extreme shadow. Barbarian used a malicious secret technique to extend his life, but the price was that his soul essence could not be reincarnated. Barbarian was hunted down by the 6 paths and escaped with serious injuries. He was then imprisoned by extreme shadow, who tortured him for information about his collection and the sky-mending pill. Barbarian cultivated the heaven-supporting devil technique, which can resist the soul-searching technique, so extreme shadow cannot forcibly obtain his secrets. Han Li read through the Heavenly Demon Empowerment Jade Slip. While his expression changed, he asked Man Huzi about the origins of the technique. Man Huzi explained that the technique was widely known. Han Li's expression was ambivalent, and he suggested there may be an issue with the technique. Man Huzi insisted on absorbing the extreme yin patriarch, so Han Li agreed to aid him, but advised him to wait until his recovery, and suggested that he himself should take action. Man Huzi was confident in defeating the extreme yin patriarch, so Han Li waited outside. A quarter of an hour later, Manhuzi transmitted a message asking for help. So Han Li entered the stone chamber. The frozen extreme Yin patriarch was dead, and Manhuzi's nascent soul had recovered its spiritual essence. He told Han Li the location of his abode before indicating that he would likely die. Han Li shattered the ice, and after confirming that the extreme Yin patriarch didn't have a soul fragment, he watched as Manhuzi's nascent soul disintegrated. Manhuzi's nascent soul transformed into golden light and vanished. Han Li sighed and burned the remains. Han Li exited the passage at full speed and was about to open the stone door when he suddenly encountered violent tremors. Sea Tribe Protector Li is assassinated by the Reverse Star Alliance, and the Sea Tribe's elite is dispatched to retrieve a top-grade spirit stone and spirit mines. The Reverse Star Alliance's nascent soul cultivator is trapped, and the Sea Tribe's demonic beasts launch a fierce attack, putting them in danger. News of the top-grade spirit stone spreads, and Han Li determines to seize the treasure after learning of its uses. Han Li guesses that the stone may be in the hands of a thin old man or a low-level cultivator. But the Sea Tribe will conduct a thorough search. 200 to 300 demonic beasts pursue a low-level Reverse Star Alliance cultivator, and Han Li prepares to seize the spirit stone once it appears. King Gold Zhao sneered and threw out a golden spear that shattered the old Thin Man's shield, piercing his defenses. The old Thin Man escaped with a secret technique, but King Gold Zhao knocked him away with a single punch, trapping him in rubble. King Gold Zhao sensed danger, grabbed the attic, but came up empty-handed. He did, however, notice that something was amiss in the pile of rubble. King Gold Zhao threw out a golden spear, piercing the ground and severely injuring the old Thin Man again, destroying his shield. Han Li witnesses a 4-armed demon beast carrying a light green storage bag. Then an 8th-level demon cultivator rejoices and welcomes it. Han Li emerges, accompanied by a thunderous roar, and transforms into a silver arc appearing above the 4-armed demon beast's head. The 4-armed demon beast evades Han Li and flees toward the 8th-level demon cultivator. But Han Li transforms into a rosy glow, disperses the golden light, and manifests a cyan hand to capture the 4-armed demon beast. The cyan hand crushes the 4-armed demon beast to pieces, and Han Li seizes the storage bag. The 8th-level demon cultivator roars, and 2 transformed demon cultivators and the Golden Zhao King rush to assist. Han Li activates an emerald green wooden ruler and casts Buddhist light, entrapping the 8th-level demon cultivator. The Golden Zhao King rockets forward, shatters the protective barrier, and slays the 8th-level demon cultivator. Han Li intercepts the 8th-level demon cultivator's remnant soul, preventing it from escaping. Han Li encounters a turtle demon and uses his sword formation to kill it. The Golden Flood Dragon King is resentful and pursues Han Li but is unable to catch up. Speculating on Han Li's identity, other demonic beasts in the form synthesis stage become fearful due to Han Li's formidable divine abilities. The Golden Flood Dragon King analyzes Han Li's strength and believes it is not much inferior to the Six-Path Supreme Saint. Fatty suspects that Han Li is related to the lesser-named human cultivator sought by the Flood Dragon clan years ago. The Golden Flood Dragon King believes the two are not the same person because the cultivation speed would be too fast. Fatty points out the existence of the Void Heaven Cauldron and the Heaven Mending Pill, making Han Li rapid advancement possible. The 5 top-grade spirit stones provided exceptionally abundant spiritual energy, causing Han Li to be fully relaxed and comfortable. Several months later, Han Li returned to the vicinity of Silver Shark Island, only to find the island's defensive formations activated and no cultivators to be seen. Han Li flew to the entrance of the light screen and was probed by a divine sense, which he countered with a verdant glow. After some negotiation, Han Li was only allowed entry after presenting his guest elder token. Over a dozen cultivators from the Star Palace were guarding the entrance, explaining that the other cultivators had evacuated due to a beast attack on the island. However, Han Li questioned the lack of defensive force. The man stated that the palace had already informed the disciples guarding the island about Han Li's identity and requested them to obey his orders. Twin Saints of the Heaven Star invite Han Li to become their dual cultivation partner and offer him the position of the Star Palace Master. Han Li refuses and reveals that he already has a Nascent Soul partner. Twin Saints of the Heaven Star send another messenger to invite Han Li to a meeting to discuss breaking through the bottleneck of the transformation stage. Han Li weighs the risks and agrees to meet at a small island after 3 days. The heavenly star saints visit Han Li, intending to exchange a secret technique for breaking through to deity transformation in exchange for Han Li's support for their daughter, Yu Ling. In taking control of the Star Palace, Han Li discovers that the heavenly star saints are from the Grand Jin and expresses curiosity about their whereabouts. The heavenly star saints admit to having visited the Grand Jin and tell Han Li about the path to the Star Sea. Han Li reveals his background half-truthfully. The heavenly star saints propose a deal, the secret technique, in exchange for Han Li's assistance to Yu Ling in ruling the Star Palace until Yu Ling has solidified her position as its master. Han Li weighs the pros and cons, considering that the heavenly star saints cannot guarantee Yu Ling will advance to the late Nascent Soul stage within 100 years, and expresses doubts about the terms of the deal. Han Li obtains and confirms the authenticity of the secret art of breaking and dissolving mysteries jade slip. Han Li's extremely fast escape speed surprises the celestial star saints. The celestial star saints plan to lure Han Li into cultivating the divine luminance of the primal magnetic force by using the secret art of breaking through the nascent soul bottleneck with the power of the 5 elements, with the intention of trapping him in Star City. The celestial star saints are worried that the jade spirit will not be able to advance to the later stage, but they are prepared to assist her to the best of their abilities. The celestial star saints plan to eliminate the 6 paths and Wan Songgu, but they currently prioritize resolving the chaos caused by the myriad sea monsters. The celestial star saints plan to ease the pressure on the sea monsters in the inner sea by taking advantage of the conflict between the Flood Dragon clan and the Suan Ni clan in the outer sea. The celestial star saints lament the loss of the top-grade spirit stone mines, which were seized by the demon cultivators. Emerald Lake Isle, named for its copper emerald ore, has an emerald green lake where mortals can float when they fall in. A group of cultivators lay out a magic circle by the lake on the island to break a restriction and search for the barbarian master's hidden treasure cave. 3 nascent soul cultivators participate in breaking the ban, namely the master of the golden inscription tower, senior brother Wu, the blood-handed demon monk, junior brother Lei, and senior sister Kai. Senior brother Wu has lost the protection of his master in the Yuan Ying period. His business is bleak, and he complains about his financial difficulties. Junior brother Lei claims he has been sought after and killed for many years because of the barbarian master's disappearance. Senior sister Kai said that after taking out the treasure, they could divide the loot and hide it or join other forces. Junior brother Lei questioned the location of the treasure she provided, suspecting that it may be one of the barbarian master's many island caves. The trio discovers a high-level cultivator on Devil Lake Island. The cultivator in green robe introduces himself as a nascent soul cultivator and alerts the trio. The elder in gray robe falsely claims to be searching for green copper, but the cultivator in green robe sees through his lie and identifies him as an array master. The cultivator in green robe recognizes that the trio's cultivation techniques resemble the sky demon technique of Barbaric Beard and inquires about their relation with him. The trio admits to being Barbaric Beard's disciples, leading the cultivator in green robe to suspect that they have obtained the location of the hidden treasure cave. The trio is alarmed, unsure if the secret was revealed by Barbaric Beard or discovered by other means. Han Li encounters Old Devil Jin Hua and recognizes his identity. Old Devil Jin Hua backs down, but Han Li attacks him because of his suspicions. Old Devil Jin Hua offers up a treasure to block Han Li's attack, but he vanishes without a trace after being hit. Han Li discovers Old Devil Jin Hua's trace and launches another attack. Old Devil Jin Hua uses talisman magic to block Han Li's attack. Old Devil Jin Hua summons a ghost sparrow while Han Li summons a cry soul beast, and the two sides face off. The bald giant was sent back to its original space by Han Li's powerful punch and vomited dark blood. Han Li summoned the Void Heaven Cauldron to subdue the golden venomous bee, while Ms. Golden Flower made her escape. Sensing that the situation was turning against them, the gray-robed old man, blue-robed young man, and gorgeously dressed woman seized the opportunity to flee. Han Li sent out the 6-winged frost centipede to pursue the trio, while he himself pursued Ms. Golden Flower. Ms. Golden Flower, severely injured, was captured by a giant hand formed from Han Li's purple flames. Han Li discovers hidden restrictions in the cave of Barbarian Huzi. Relying on his supernatural powers and puppets, he breaks through the restrictions, revealing a teleportation array. Han Li enters a stone chamber through the array and confirms that the chamber is empty. He explores the surrounding rooms and determines that no other cultivators are in the cave. Han Li discovers a wealth of treasures and books in Barbarian Huzi's collection. He obtains a piece of Zheng essence, completing the materials for his 72 flying swords. Han Li will complete the Great Zheng Sword Formation, whose power will make him invincible. The clone of the Azure Gale Saint Beast in Dingzhong Tianlan awakens its spirit and recovers its spirit realm memories. The clone uses spirit realm escape techniques to escape the Void Heaven Cauldron. But its aura is assimilated and it cannot leave this spirit treasure. Han Li is surprised to discover that the Azure Gale Saint Beast clone is unwilling to advance to the God transformation stage in order to deal with a great calamity that will occur in 10,000 years. Summoning a clone requires special great abilities and spirit transformation stones. And the success rate is extremely low. The Azure Gale Saint Beast clone states that it has no conflict of interest with Han Li and will not seek revenge in the future. If Han Li kills the clone will leave a mark on Han Li's nascent soul, threatening Han Li's safety after ascending to the spirit realm. Han Li accepts the conditions of the Azure Sky Beast, including releasing the Void Heaven Cauldron's assimilation, sheltering the beast for a period of time, and helping it transcend the heavenly tribulation of transfiguration. As a gesture of sincerity, the Azure Sky Beast teaches Han Li the Silver Tadpole Incantation Refining Method. Han Li studies the storage pouch of the old ancestor Golden Flower and discovers a broken jade tablet containing silver tadpole runes. The Azure Sky Beast inside the cauldron recognizes this object as the Golden Lunar Book, a celestial object from the true immortal realm, and cannot believe that it has appeared in the mortal realm. Han Li transforms into a human figure, staring intently at the jade tablet, his expression complex with both envy and regret. Han Li obtains a torn page of the Jade Book of Golden Palace, which is written in Silver Kwien on the outer page. A child teaches Han Li the Silver Kwien but proposes to borrow the Jade Book. Han Li agrees to exchange his knowledge. The Silver Kwien originates from the true immortal realm and has incredible effects. Han Li and the child communicate for 2 months, during which Han Li comprehends a considerable portion of the Silver Kwien. The two arrive at the small Huan Island where Han Li once lived, which evokes sentimental memories in him. Han Li continues to travel toward Kui Xing Island. Han Li visits Wen Xingyue and his wife and discovers that Tian Qin'er has regained her appearance. Wen Xingyue and his wife request that Han Li take Tian Qin'er as his disciple, and Han Li agrees to test her formation attainments. Han Li enters the cave dwelling to test her, where other disciples greet him. A day later, Han Li and Tian Qin'er leave the cave dwelling, and their destination is unknown. A month later, a large group of black-robed cultivators arrive at the cave in the desolate ravine, led by Ming Shidi, a mid-foundation establishment cultivator. Ming Shidi has taken over from Fan Shidi to guard the spirit mine, and although they are short-handed, he believes they are sufficient. Fan Shidi leads Ming Shidi and his group to the entrance of the spirit mine, where there is a fissure leading underground and 2 chi condensation disciples guarding it. An elder of the Ghost Spirit Sect is assassinated from behind by a cultivator of the Demonic Flame Sect, revealing that the Demonic Flame Sect has infiltrated the Ghost Spirit Sect. The Demonic Flame Sect cultivators plan to dispose of the Ghost Spirit Sect disciples using an ancient teleportation array to take over the Ghost Spirit Sect. The ancient teleportation array is unexpectedly activated, transporting a young man and a chi condensation state girl. A middle-aged cultivator from the Demonic Flame Sect prepares to attack the two, but is stopped by a man surnamed Meng, who recognizes the young man. The remaining Demonic Flame Sect cultivators ignore Meng's warning and attack the two.